Good evening, dobra večer, and welcome to the Oz Cro Soccer Show. We're powering through the episodes, and tonight it's episode 28. My name is Tonchi Prusats, and a very good, warm welcome, very warm Gold Coast welcome to Josip Zilic, my co-host. Evening, Josip. How are you?
Good, thanks, Tonchi. Good evening, and good evening to all our viewers out there tonight. Looking forward to tonight's session, as we always do, Tonchi. We've got lots of news to get through, and we've got a guest to have a good chat with about a successful situation. Plus, Tonchi, live scores and prizes.
Oh, we've got the lot tonight. We've got the lot. Mate, who have we got on tonight? Let's get straight to the chase. Cut straight to the chase. We've got a big, and it's a great reason here it is. I'm wearing this for a certain reason. Tell us, who's our guest tonight?
It is.
It's lost in the Zoom screen, the green screen. Yeah.
Oh, no, it's no good. Oh, I'll just put it around my neck then.
Yeah,
it's the skipper of North Geelong Warriors. It's Ryan OPPERMANN. Congratulations to North Geelong Warriors getting themselves promoted into NPL1, joining sister clubs Melbourne Knights and Albans Saints. Unfortunately, won't be joined by Dandy City.
Damn it!
Look, it's one of those things that happens at the tail end of a season when you're fighting for your position. But we'll go into greater depth in that as we go along through the Aussie Wrap, mate. But look, first things first, let's get some update scores underway.
Yep.
Over in the nation's capital, Connor Knights is in the 84th minute against Canberra Olympic, and they're down 1-0 at the moment. Now, they're holding fourth position, so even if they're lost, they'll still hold fourth position, but it just makes life a little bit spicy towards finals time. So we want them to get themselves a couple of goals in these dying minutes. Another update too, though, and not so bright news as well. Brisbane Roar Youth, who's leading Gold Coast Knights 1-0 in a catch-up game in Queensland's NPL, mate. Not a score many would have anticipated, to be fair and to be really honest. No disrespect to the Brisbane Roar Youth, but I'm not sure what the calibre of the lineup they put on the park tonight. But one would have thought that Gold Coast Knights would go there and just start to towel them up with the opportunity to get a home semi-final.
Yeah,
so it's really what they're pushing for.
Now,
and then later on, by the time the show's done,
yes,
we should have all the scores in for the FFA Cup and know who Sydney United's opponent's going to be.
That's what we want to know. Stick around, folks, because before the end of the show, we will have, Sydney United's next opponent. And Josip, you'll be very shortly when we go in our Australian Croatian roundup. We'll be reliving that magic moment on Sunday. I tell you what, Sunday afternoon, I was getting myself ready for one of our sister podcasts, the 100th episode of the Football Out West show, in front of a live studio audience that evening. And glass me a promuko, as they say, my voice is gone. By about 5 o'clock, I was screaming, I was yelling. And
I heard you on the Football Out West show. You sounded a bit hoarse.
I sounded like I was going through puberty. I wish.
That happened to me recently. I had to step in for
You went through
Ben's
puberty?
Coach. No, twice. I had to step in for Ben's coach recently. He was sick, run down with the flu, and he gives me a message. He goes, Zilla, can you jump in? No problem. I go and jump in. Haven't coached for nearly a year, right? Because I've been up here enjoying the confines of being a spectator, right? All of a sudden, I'm barking orders across the pitch, and my voice is cracking on me.
Yeah, no, it takes a certain that's I'm currently doing a coaching course, and in the coaching course, it's obviously it's very theoretical, but they don't teach enough about player management, man management, that sort of stuff. But they also don't teach vocal fitness. I think you should do a module on vocal coaching, that sort of stuff, like how to suppress your voice or how to keep it strong. Anyway, I digress. We've also got, as you said, we've got a prize, actually two prizes. Let's talk about those prizes, mate. Wow.
Yeah, if you want to throw up there they are. Kindly donated by Susie Grilic from the Croatian Socialites Facebook site and Hrvatski Radio Ponos, Wollongong's very own Susie Grilic. She's got these nice wooden serving cutting boards, whatever you want to call them, but they're beautifully done. And we've got the opportunity to give one away straight away in the next few seconds, and we'll do another one later on the show, just as we head into the Croatian news. But I think we'll get things underway, Tonchi, for the first.
Let's go. The first prize underway. Which one is it going to be? The Dinamo or Torcida?
Go the Dinamo board.
If
you want to win the Dinamo board. Yep. If you want to win the Bad Blue Boys Dinamo board, get my tongue in order. Okay, the first person that pops up on our panel with the response to this. During a goal celebration in the weekend's derby between Dinamo Zagreb and Hajduk Split, there was an unusual object seen falling from the stands as the Dinamo players got together to celebrate. What was that unusual item?
Okay, we're looking. We're looking. Who could it be?
We'll give that a few seconds to see if an immediate response pops up. Otherwise,
in the meantime, what we're going to do is we're going to take a very, very quick commercial break. And when we return, we hope to have the answer to that, the name of that winner. And also, on top of that, we're going to go to the news desk.
Hang on.
Shall we hold on?
Hang on. Hold on. Before we go to the news, before we go to the little break into the news desk, let's go with it, mate. We have the 600 man himself, Ante Šesto from St. Albans Dinamo. That's where most of us know him from, plus also all around the Croatian community, because he's a man of many scenes, young Anthony. But congratulations, that is the correct answer. Plastic leg of all things, Tonchi. Some amputee is now without his lower limb because he was celebrating that hard that it fell over the edge of the tribuna and onto the running track.
We thought we were going to show this, a picture of this, but we thought it might be actually offensive and it might make actually a lot of people vomit. So we thought better not.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm only joking. Yeah. Was it plastic or was it wooden? All right. So we're going to...
Good on you, Šesto.
Good on you, Šesto. Ante Šesto wins that prize. And he's going to get a wooden chopping board, a Bad Blue Boys wooden chopping board.
Perfect for him, mate.
Or you might prefer to have the Torcida one and just play darts at it, but we'll leave that up to... No, we won't.
He's been a Dinamo man all his life, so it's perfect.
All right, then. We're going to take a very, very short break. When we return, folks, it's time for the Oz Cro News wrap-up. Yep, that's right, folks. Citizen Hire or Citizen HR, it's making Croatian citizenship simple. Pleme app is launching very soon. Best way to find out more information about all this is go to their Facebook page or go to the website even, premier.app/citizenhr, making Croatian citizenship easy. We're getting reports that every time we play an ad, every time we play an MPEG file or a movie file, it seems to go jumpy. Mate, that's the beauty of having internet in a third world country or a third world internet country. During the week, I kid you not, where I am, I've got NBN, and I upgraded it, Aussie broadband and everything, and then I find out that I've only got a certain limit as to what I can upload, and I'm stuck with bloody fibre to the node. Yeah, there is a couple of expletives I could use, Yossi.
Well,
Yossi,
Tonchi, you know what? Let's help you forget about the woes of the internet. And
yes, let's talk.
Australian Croatian wrap up. And before we go into anything, here's a quick update score. No sooner had we sent out the message that the Gold Coast Knights were down 1-0. It's now 1-0.
Oh, yes.
Now 1-0. So good on your Knights. Keep fighting away and get a win and get yourselves a home semi. Okay. Episodes 28, Oz Cro wrap, mate. Over to New South Wales. South Coast United, 5 games undefeated, Tunchi. The points keep coming for the United boys. And this time, not a win, but points nonetheless. It's a point, and it's in the right direction at the right time of the season. A 1-1 draw against Winona has United holding 9th position. The important part is that the bottom 4 all play each other this week. Now, South Coast United, being 4th last, a winner against Corrimal, who's 3rd last, will push them 5 points away from the drop zone. So if they can get the right result the right time of the year, into the closing stages, start to give themselves some direction and some breathing space. As you can see, the 1-1 draw against Winona there. So we're going to now head ourselves over to the southwestern suburbs of Hurstville. And Swagger junior teams were involved in finals action on the weekend, Tonch. As we know, the men's groups have wrapped up their season. But the under-16 girls had a tight 0-0 final to wrap up their season. But the way it works over there, they don't do any kind of penalty shootouts or anything like that. They just look at who ended up high on the ladder and they call them the champion. So Hurstville in this situation ended up with the runners-up medal. So well done, girls, on the runners-up. Under 16, so no doubt they'll be knocking on the door for some senior women's football in the very, very near future. And as a club, Hurstville, well done. You've had a fantastic year.
Now, I did have that slide up, and I don't know where it's gone, but I definitely did have that slide up, so it's probably missing somewhere along the lines and has been lost, but I do apologise for that. We did have that slide.
Let's head ourselves over to the Hunter, mate. How present were these guys during the Sydney United match? They were just over everything. Yeah. Look at that. And they even got special mention from Sydney United throughout the week on the social media feeds. But look at them. Like Marincic and Živka and Guda and the boys. So, and there's Joshi with his young lad as well. Good to see. Look, before we go into any score updates, we just want to wish Stipe Živkovic a speedy recovery as he broke his collarbone during the encounter on the weekend in the all-age team 4-4 draw with Thornton. He had to undergo surgery, so we wish him all the very best as he goes through recovery. Last night they took on Tanambit at home, and they just had a lazy 9-0 win, Tonchi. Nothing really big, you know.
Oh, gosh.
But anyway,
a futsal score.
A futsal score. Yeah. Look, the Div 3 guys keep doing what they do best, mate. They are winning form, 5-0 over Cardiff last Thursday. Top of the table, and they face Curry this Saturday. That was that previous Curry match that got washed out. So let's hope for no more washouts.
No, absolutely. We don't want washouts. Yeah. That's it.
Good stuff. I got it on good advice too from Živka up in Newcastle. That the season will still pan out the way it does, and because Newcastle's played a bit more than Hamilton or Zuri, that if the form continues right now, Hamilton will probably take it out by 2 points. So what we need is all the forces behind us. As we know on this show, we know that when we put our energy behind something, the results come in the right way. So we need Hamilton just to trip up a game or two. So let's hope it's this weekend where they trip up for a start.
I reckon it might happen. Sydney United, what a game. Tell us all about it.
Sydney, this was unreal. This took me back to my youth. Yeah, not just because of the people that I saw on the visual footage on the sidelines, but just the atmosphere and the sheer passion from people on the sidelines. You can actually hear it in the commentators. They were being impacted by the way they were commentating.
Yeah.
But what a game. Going down 1-0 just before half-time, coming out saying, you know what, we've got nothing to lose here. We're not going to go out die wandering. They came back in the game. Myers finished a beautiful chance to make it 1-1. Got themselves into a penalty situation, and this is where the behemoth Nizic, he is a man mountain. And now I reckon if I was on the penalty spot taking a shot against this bloke, I don't know where I'd kick him. He looks menacing, right?
There was one moment. I think he was.
We've gone too far there, Tonch.
We've gone too far. There was one moment where I think might have been the penalty shootout, and he's just reached up, touched the crossbar without jumping up. Yeah. Now, when the goalkeeper does that, you know it's going to be pretty intimidating. He's got this Mrzina of a bloke. Try and get it past him. Oh, I tell you what, it was good though.
But look, he was too much of an obstacle for Lushtica on the day, mate. He saved that last one, and then Sydney United converted their final penalty, and the scenes were reminiscent of glory days, Tonchi. Kids running left, right, and centre. And when I say kids, even the big kids, even Zhivko was on the park taking footage.
Well, we have got a little bit of footage of that, and we will go through that a little bit later on. In fact, when we finish up this particular segment, we'll actually go out with that. So you'll really, really enjoy that. But moving along, mate. So let's talk about potential opponents for tonight.
Look, you got Sydney FC, who's currently they actually through at the moment. MacArthur FC's through. Adelaide United look like they're going to come over the line. Brisbane Roar look like they're going to get over the line. Wellington look like they're over, and Oakley look like they're over the line. So, any one of those.
Who would you like out there? People, we want to hear in the chat. Who would you like to see tonight? And I'd love to have your reasons why. Go on.
Tonchi, my personal choice is only because I know how the Melbourne guys would get behind it. I mean, I know Sydney will, if they have a home final, for example, if they get Wellington, they'll have it at home.
Oakley Cannons.
But if they get an interstate trip, make sure it's Oakley. Yeah, the Melbourne guys will get right around it, and that atmosphere will be haunting.
We might even have a couple of Greek clubs supporting us as well, Heidelberg and what aren't they a little bit rivals with Oakley? So you never know.
The whole Bentley thing and everything.
We've got a progress score. Speaking of the Oakley game, Brisbane City have pulled one back now, 62nd minute. It is 3-2 to Oakley. So we might have to. Who knows? We might actually turn around and have to go up to Brisbane.
Come up to Brisbane. Come visit me.
More good shit. Anything's possible, but So going through those games again tonight, Adelaide United 1-0 over Adelaide City. That's in the 61st minute. Brisbane Roar narrowly over Avondale 1-0 in the 63rd minute as well.
64th
Wellington
now. Yep.
Yeah, Wellington Phoenix 2-0 over Melbourne City. That's interesting. And Oakley Cannons still 3-2 up, 63rd minute against Brisbane City. So folks, tell us in the chat, who would you love to have? Me and Zilla have given our kind of preference who we'd like, but absolutely let us know in the chat box who you think you'd like to come on the show next week, and we'll pop that up there again. Some of those, the capturing the colour and the jubilation, and as you said, it was just like 2 o'clock kickoff straight after Missa, like the good old days. It just smacked of 1980s, 1990s National Soccer League. It was the halcyon days.
Great weekend of football, I thought.
Yeah, fantastic.
Anyway, let's go over to the nation's capital, mate. O'Connor Knights, their update score tonight, full time there. They've gone down 1-0 to Olympic, so they're going to have to pick themselves up quickly for the weekend's game, but also on the weekend past, they had a 2-2 draw against Tigers, so they're not getting the results at the moment, so they just need to find a way to convert some more chances, I guess. But they are sitting in fourth, and they've got I think they've got a 2-point gap at the moment on Olympic. The women's team, 1-0 win over Woden Valley, holding second position, facing Bell South this week. Special mention to O'Connor Knights. Their collective points tally in the NPL system has ranked them number 1, and their boys are going to be in the NPL for 2023. So that's awesome. Alex Trinicic and the team there in the football department, well done. Congratulations. Keep up the good work, and we love the positivity coming out of the club. Good to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Canberra, Croatia, the women's match against Tuggeranong was abandoned. There's no real news behind this, Tony. Tonchi, I don't really have a story for you.
Yeah.
I thought maybe it might have been rain, maybe it was an injury like broken leg or something. We just don't know. I haven't got anything around it. So if any one of our viewers out there knows the details as to why the Canberra Croatia women's match got called off, give us a quick note in the chat.
Yeah.
The men's team, they stay on top of the ladder despite a 2-2 draw with Monero. And this weekend they take on Gungahlin. We'll head over to wine country, mate, South Australia. Adelaide Croatia's women's team lost 1-0 to top side East Adelaide. And then this week they'll play last place Adelaide Uni and hopefully collect some points. The men's team had a bit of a battle royale situation, a couple of red cards, which won't help them ahead of the finals. But they hold their 5th position after a 2-1 win over 4th place Para Hills. And maybe it was a little bit of showboating, peacocking, who knows what it is, but because these guys are going to be in the finals together, so yeah, just a bit of gesticulation and heated moments. So they're going to be a couple of men down. Not the ideal situation heading into the first round of the finals. The Adelaide Vukovic guys, they had the week off. Okay. We can just have a look at the quick score update. 61st minute between Raw Youth and Gold Coast Knights, still holding out at 1-1.
Nice. Well, there's still plenty of time for the Knights to record a win there, and that's exactly what we want to see happen tonight. But no, in the meantime, let's jump over across the Nullarbor, mate, in Western Australia. What is going on over in WA?
Yeah, the Guelph Croatia, the women's team, they had a 1-0 loss to North Beach this week. They take on 4th place Queens FC. The men's team, although they went down 2-0 to Perth, they remained second last and narrowly heading off from relegation. So this is the clinch week, though, Tunchi. This is the clincher. They take on last place Belcutter. You beat them. You got yourself a 3-point buffer plus a healthier goal percentage, and then you can. Another, I think, 2 rounds after that. They're both facing higher opposition. So
So this
is the one they wanted to. 6-pointer, as you love to call it, don't you?
I love it. That's my favourite word.
Western Knights, though. Western Knights had an indoor soccer match, don't you? 5-4 win over Rockingham. Cool. So, you don't see scores like this too often. So, according to our source on the ground, Pecco, Alan Petrovich, one stage leading 2-1, went down 4. I think it was 4-2 and made way back in the game, 5-4 win. So you can just imagine the emotional roller coaster watching this game from the sidelines. Second place Knights, they are facing second last place Uni WA this weekend.
That's your home state.
Over to the pointy end of the country, mate. Brisbane. The women's team took on Capalaba, going down 3-1 and dropped to 4th place as a result ahead of the bye round this week. The men's team, a 3-1 loss also to North Pine, and they're sitting at 5th position ahead of their clash with North Brizzy coming up. Gold Coast Knights, as we've heard, they're sitting at 1-1 in the current match against Raw Youth, but they also had a 2-2 draw against second place Olympic. If this draw holds out, they'll take on second place tonight. It was a cagey affair last weekend. The match lacked a true finisher. There was plenty of spurn chances. Unfortunately, they just don't have the right target person to keep slotting them away week in, week out. Anyway, if they get the right result tonight, they just had a chance disallowed. It was 2-1, but it's gone back to 1-1. So I don't know what happened there. Maybe offside. But they'll be hosting a home semi coming up if they get the right result tonight. The South Coast, though, the South Coast QPL 4 side, Mark Vidakovic's boys have reached the summit, the 2-0, after their win over Ormo. And with 2 matches in hand, they are in a commanding position. This week, they take on Coomera at home Friday night, which is good because you can go out there and get yourself a meal and enjoy the boys' entertainment.
So just a quick question. The FAR Queensland, how does it go? FAR QPL, FQPL.
Hank, what did you say? Did you say FAR?
What did I say? No, I didn't. I said FQPL. Is that the local league? Is it?
That's the local Gold Coast League.
Gold Coast League, yeah, and it just extends around the Gold Coast region. Does it sort of extend out towards the Sunshine Coast or anything like that?
Yeah,
Or?
or like into the hinterland and all that sort. Not Sunshine Coast. That's too far north there.
Right. Okay. All right. For us out of towners, just so we know what is going on. Awesome. Yeah. We might take a break. Josip, take a drink, have a bit of a breath. Take a bit of a breath. When we return, folks, we're going to focus on Victoria. There's a lot happening at all elements of the competition there. We'll also touch on Glenorchy Knights. But, folks, don't go away. You are tuning into the Oz Cro Soccer Show. Later in the show, we'll be talking to the North Geelong Warriors captain, Ryan OPPERMANN. The North Geelong Warriors earned promotion to next year's NPL Victoria competition after an absence of 5 years, or will be 6 years by next year. So we look forward to that. But in the meantime, here's a couple of words from our business advertisers. Welcome back to the Oz Cro Soccer Show. Before we go on, Brenton Ray, I do need to make out a special mention to Brenton. Brenton is a young chap from Lara who is an absolute soccer fanatic, heavily involved with Hoppers Crossing down in Victoria. He watches all of our podcasts, from the Football Hour Show, the Geelong Region Soccer Show, and even the Oz Cro Soccer Show. And if there is one man who is not a professional journalist in the sense, but knows more than any professional journalist here in Australia, it is Brenton Ray. Brenton says, Avondale have just equalised against Brisbane Roar 1-1. That is an interesting one there. Interesting game. So any other progress scores, Josipu?
No, Gold Coast Knights still holding out at 1-1. The rest of all held on as they are. But even if Sydney United go to Avondale for a visit, I'm sure the Melbourne boys would love that.
They would, very much so. Very much so. Avondale, not the biggest fans of a lot of Croatians down in Melbourne, that's for sure. Speaking of Melbourne, let's go on to continue with the Oz Cro Roundup.
Our friends at Gorspitch Bears had themselves a very successful weekend this one. Big 6-2 win over Hume United and into third place. They faced the old foe in Williamstown on Friday night at Churchill Reserve. So get yourselves out to St Albans Dynamo and take in some of the Gorspitch Bears entertainment. The Masters, they had another huge win, 5-0 over Albion, ahead of their bye and holding on to top spot. We go to Strathmore. The women's team, 7th place women's team, went down 8-1 to topside Faulkner, and they're away to Pascoe this week. The men had their match called off at halftime against Clifton Hill with the score at 1-1. Their catch-up game against Sydenham Park last night, unfortunately, it didn't go in their favour. They went down 2-0. So, look, they're still holding on to that second last place, but I don't know how they're going to fixture at that abandoned game from last weekend.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting how they get around that one. But look, they just got to keep battling on and take each week as it comes, because that's exactly what they've got to drop this one pretty quickly and just focus on the next. So look, Div 2 guys, they had a shellacking. They went down 12-0. I haven't seen a score like that for a while. 12-0 to Newport. This week they're away to Juve in a bottom 2 clash. The Masters guys had a ding-dong 4-4 draw. They remain in second and away to Old Ivanhoe this week. And our focus tonight in North Geelong, their women's team, they had a 6-0 loss to Spring Hills. The challenge gets tougher for them, though. At Elko Park on the weekend, they face top team Brunswick Juve, and battling away with the likes of Laura Spadanovic. It won't be an easy feat for them. The men's team, an amazing scenes at Elko Park on the weekend.
Yes.
Congratulations to all involved once again. As it for us too, it holds a dear place in our hearts. It was difficult to be on the sidelines, getting snippets of videos and footage from people, and not being there to experience it. But I was delighted nonetheless, jumping around my little apartment here in Broadbeach, making all sorts of loud noises. Benji and I high-fiving each other like we were at Elko Park.
Can I just say,
3-0 win over Bulleen.
Yeah.
2 goals to Glitch, who's still leading the scoring there.
Now, can I just say, it was a game of two halves, and the first half was bathed in beautiful sunshine. Spring was in the air. For those of you that know Elko Park, I was on the outer, sitting up where the scaffold is, because you can always hear what the coaches have to say. A big cheerio out to Adrian Chagal as well. It's always very, very colourful listening to Chugs down on the sidelines. And I was thinking, this is magnificent. This is absolutely fantastic. Soon as the halftime whistle and the players went off, just heard this rumble of thunder. And it was like, oh, that doesn't sound too good, you know. I thought, I think I'm going to make my way slowly over towards the grandstand just in case. About 10 seconds later, an almighty flash of lightning, illuminated the sky. I thought, This is not good. And I think North Geelong was up at 1-0, and we thought, oh, no. What if they called the game off? What will they do? Will they have to make it, played midweek, maybe played up at Bulleen's ground or somewhere else, Because that was our secret weapon. The ground, for those of you who have seen Elko Park, it's chopped up. It is a quagmire. And but Bulleen are used to playing on a pristine synthetic pitch. Yeah. Now, second half, the rain opened up. It really became a quagmire. We'll see some of the footage, and we'll talk to Ryan Opperman a little bit later on. But that second half, the boys just, absolute, what do they call it? What's the term, Yosip, when someone loves playing in the mud, mudlarks, mud, whatever it is, And that was North Geelong. That was Warriors. It was like just good, old-fashioned, tenacious football.
You can see that they're used to it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I never thought I'd see the day to say, I love that Elko Park is an absolute quagmire because
his mother was a mother.
Absolutely. Now, turning our attention to this week, a special announcement. There is going to be a supporters bus leaving Geelong at 12:15. So leaving the Dom there in Separation Street in Bell Park at 12:15. First stop is going to be, stop. It says stop one is the Dom, but that's where it's leaving. Picking up anyone at Elko Park at 12:40. Off to the game. Then it will leave Melbourne at 5:45 en route to the Dom via Elko Park. And it says celebration drinks there at 6:45 p.m. and then arriving at the Dom at 7:15. Should that be maybe 7:15 a.m. if they clinch the title?
7:15 if they lose.
p.m.
It's
7:15
promotion,
a.m. if they,
and it's a.m. if they take the championship out with the promotion.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to Dandenong City. Like I said, we will talk about
some other North Geelong related news though. We've heard that Luka Skorko and Niki Vlahovic has signed for Spiders Baška Voda, Urania, and we also we got the news early this morning that Noah Skorko made his under-17s Croatian national team debut.
Yes.
Coming on in the 63rd minute, playing 30-odd minutes in a 2-2 draw against Turkey.
Yeah.
So well done, Noah. Congratulations on your international debut.
While we're there, so as you can see, for those of you that can read Croatian, so the under-17 national team under the tutelage of Robert Jarni, famous Vatreni and ex-Hajduk Split player. As you can see there where it's circled, Noah Skorko, he is a part of the Hajduk team. He's a part of the Cadeti. Now, the Juniori, I think, are like the youth team. Cadeti would probably be the, I don't know what they'd be.
He's in the 17s.
Under 17s,
yeah.
So we've actually got a little bit of footage, which we might play later on in the Croatian roundup as well, of Noah making his debut appearance in a. I suppose it was a friendly, wasn't it? It was the call it the Tekli Cup or something like that, or
some sort of little
Telki Cup in Hungary.
They've got some qualifiers coming up in October, so this is a precursor to that.
Absolutely. So fantastic news. Find out more about that in the Croatian roundup. But let's move along to Dandenong City.
Yeah, before that, update score, Gold Coast Knights has gone up 2-1. So it's good to see them. Yep, and they'll definitely be hosting a home final that way. Dandenong City, the women's 5th place team, big 5-2 win over Glen Ira, and then off to Rosebud this weekend to sustain that form that they're in. The men's team, unfortunately, their stoic defence wasn't able to hold out South Melbourne all game, and they snuck in with 10 minutes to go to take out a 1-0 win over Dandy, and effectively end Dandy City's challenge to remain in NPL 1. That was mainly as the 1-0 result there, but also Hume City decided to fight tooth and nail and came out winning 2-1 over Dandy Thunder. Look, just I wish everyone at Dandy City all the best as they review and set their sights back into how they want to challenge themselves for 2023. It hasn't been an easy year for them, and COVID hasn't been friendly to any of us. I just wish them all the best, and we know that they'll do the right thing. There's a statement there from Ljuban Palanic as well.
Yeah,
yep.
The sooner the better. They get back to NPL, and hopefully the 3 Croatian clubs will retain their spot there, so that in 2 years' time we can have 4 Croatian clubs in the NPL Victoria competition. St Albans Dynamo.
St Albans, the women's team are having a good patch of form lately. They got themselves some more points to add to their tally. They got a 0-0 draw against Altona City, and this week home to Ballarat, sitting in 7th spot. The men's team, great to see winning form return their way. For a change, Tonchi, they're the ones who scored the last-minute goal. So good on you, Dynamo. How many times this year have they copped last-minute goals? It's been very annoying. 3-1 Gold Coast Knights, definitely going to be hosting a semi-final. St Albans Saints 2-1 win over Oakley. Yep. Maybe as a result of Oakley realising that they're not going to take out the title this year. So anyway, irrespective, better to see the points in Dynamo's bag. They'll close out the year on an away trip to Altona Magic. Melbourne Knights. Their women's team had their final match, ended quite poorly with a 6-0 loss, finishing their season in 8th spot. The men's team, an entertaining game this one, 1-1 draw against Altona Magic. Really, this one could have been an indoor soccer result the way it was being played. But look, 1-1 draw, a nice way to finish the season, and it was good to see Luka Kulic get the majority of the game time after coming back from his training with the young Socceroos. And they finished their season off against Port Melbourne away.
And last but not least, the Apple Isle Glenorchy Knights.
The women's team continue their solid form, a 3-0 win over Newtown. They've got a bye this week, and they hold the second position comfortably. The men's team, late form has been quite woeful, and they're starting to leak goals every week these days. So not sure what's happened there, but late goals flattered them, actually, because they were down 5-1 at one stage against... I've forgotten who they played. Clarence Zeblers is this week, but they went down 5-3 in their match. But look, like I say, they've been leaking goals.
Okay, well that's the end of the Oz Cro Roundup. We're going to leave you with a little bit of footage that speaks for itself from the Edenzel Park complex on Sunday. Oh, what an afternoon it was. And enjoy, folks. When we return, it's time for the Croatian Roundup and the Herceg Bosna Roundup as well.
Not bad. Joe Chalena. Joe, give me a smile.
There you go. My apologies. I did try to mute it at that particular moment when there was the F-bomb dropped and I just timed it wrong. But it was one of those heat of the moment. The emotion was there. That was the Newcastle boys. Karl Zivkovic, was it? He's responsible for that.
That was Zivka.
Well done, Zivka. Fantastic. And that was just absolutely fantastic. Absolutely awesome. Now, we're going to go into the Croatian roundup, but before we do that, Josip, I think it's time that we do our next prize. What do you reckon?
Yeah, let's get the Torcida wooden board out. And this question for our viewers will be...
Once again, first one in the chat.
First one into our chat that pops up with the right answer. Hajduk goal scorer in the derby match last weekend, Yanni Atanasov, hails from which country? Hajduk goal scorer Yanni Atanasov hails from which country?
We'll accept two versions. You can say the full version, or you can say the old version. Okay. Keep an eye out.
Pops up.
Yeah,
I'll keep an eye out.
You keep an eye out on that. In the meantime, we're going to go through that, and as you said, mate, let's start. Let's start with the Aussie Croats in Croatia, Baška Voda. So Urania is our favourite team in the fourth tier league. There, Treća Hrvatska nogometna liga South. Željko Kalac Spider, he has been appointed coach of Urania, the most Croatian club on the Dalmatian coast. I'm going to go out and say that. I'm sure Croatia Zmijavci might disagree, but they're kind of inland. Imoćani, they're inland. The reason I say that, Urania has got this big Vukovar plastered across their seats as well. So that is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
But Lucas Gorko and Nicholas Volarovic, the two ex-North Geelong boys, have signed on at Baška Voda. Hopefully we might even get them in the on air in a couple of weeks' time, because that would be absolutely fantastic. Great news, great story. The Australian Croatian colony getting bigger and bigger. We do have a winner. News update. Don't tell me.
Newcastle's roving reporter Karl Zivkovic is the right answer. Look, he answered correctly on both accounts, but the guy is actually from Macedonia. So we'll get your details, both you and Sesto, for your prizes, and we'll get Susie to send it out. So congratulations, Karl, and thanks for your contribution this week with the video as well.
Now, Karl, are you going to be, wearing that pride of place with somewhere, or are you going to be using that as a dartboard after the weekend's round of football? Now, speaking of the weekend,
he's a Lichan. He can go either way.
Yeah. We'll actually bring that up again so you can have a look at those wonderful, wonderful prizes that the gents have won. So well done to them, and that is absolutely fantastic. Let's go through the results. It was a very interesting round of matches in the Croatian Soccer League in the HNL. Šibenik and Istra fought out a 0-0 draw on Friday night. Gorica, their first win of the season, defeating Lokomotiva 3-2. Lokomotiva have been doing very well. Gorica, they've had 2 draws, I think it was, and a loss, if I'm not mistaken. From their 3 games up until then, they managed to win 3-2, which was a great result for them. Dinamo Zagreb and Hajduk Split. Now, this was the big one up in Zagreb. Hajduk Split took a first half lead. As you said, Josip, Atanasov scored a bomb, an absolute pile driver. And that was about the only thing that night that the Hajduk Split fans had to celebrate. In the second half, Dinamo Zagreb just turned it on. And look, I think
even the first half, I thought Dinamo were unlucky not to be on the
score.
Well,
they were. Yeah. They were. I think the percentage of possession was something like 60-40 or 65-35. And look, I'm a proud Hajduk supporter, and I love Hajduk, and I still, think that they're going to do very well this year. But there was some perplexing things, like, for example, Valdas Dambrauskas, he's a brilliant coach, and he's going to go down as one of the most successful coaches at Hajduk. But why did he choose a big derby game against a very formidable opponent to basically start experimenting with 3 stoppers in the back line? And he did this. You've got the new Nigerian player Chido came in. Look, he looks good. It's going to take time for him to blend in, but he does look good. But he was the one that made the mistake for the first goal. Stefan Simic, he continues to impress me, I think. He actually continues to impress me. And then Tony Borevkovic, who's come over from Portugal as a lone player. Another good player, but did they need to have an experiment of 3 stoppers in the back line? I don't think so. And whether that kind of stifled the creativity of the midfield going into attack, because Krovinovic was the only one really that looked like Hajduk was going to get anything from. Livaja looked a bit stale, but Livaja is enigmatic. He's the Gary Ablett of Croatian soccer. He will sometimes turn it on and sometimes he will struggle and he gets easily frustrated, like all good strikers. Moving along, Rijeka, they are in the doldrums. They lost at home to Slaven Belupo. And speaking of teams that are in the doldrums, NK Osijek 2 could only manage a 2-2 draw with Varaždin. Now, 2 interesting things to come out of this game. Nenad Bjelica is still the coach of NK Osijek after a meeting with the Osijek Hungarian president. But the fans are calling for blood. They do not like Bjelica, and they've basically made it their mission statement this year to get rid of him. Which is really, really sad. But I guess what is even more sadder is Varaždin's captain, Igor Postinski, I think I've got that right, broke his leg. And if you watch the footage, you can actually, it happens sort of in front of the Osijek bench. And you could actually hear the crack. And after that, the whole stadium's just gone completely silent. And you just see Bjelica, the Osijek coach, he just sort of goes, just cringes like that. But 2 days later, guess what? After he'd been operated, Postinski was at Varaždin training on his crutches, geeing up the boys for a big game this week. So absolutely fantastic. Well done to the man. Let's go through the ladder, Josip. So this is after round 5. Dinamo Zagreb moving already away at the top. Slaven Belupo, the team from Koprivnica.
Surprise. Yeah.
The smallest budget in the entire league, and they are doing very well. Their coach, Zoran Zekic, a really interesting interview with him on the podcast Utakmica na Utakmicu. He just really said it the way it is. He goes, look, we are the paupers of the league. We've got a really, really minute budget. We're always going to struggle, and we're just going to do the best that we can with what we've got, and we'll never be up there fighting for the title with the big 4. But we'll try and do our best that we possibly can. Then there's a whole glut of teams. Now, remember, Hajduk Split has got 2 games in hand. Whole glut of teams on 6 points or 5. So Hajduk, Lokomotiva, Šibenik, Gorica, Osijek, Varaždin, and then Rijeka and Istra on 4 points apiece. So, look, it's still early days, but Dinamo are looking good. Moving along, round 6 this weekend. Saturday morning, Slaven Belupo take on Gorica. This should be a good game, actually. Gorica getting their first win of the season. Slaven Belupo looking to maybe keep their lofty position at the top. Then on Sunday morning, Varaždin taking on Šibenik at home. It'll be interesting to see if Varaždin's crowd will be as big as it has been in recent matches. They are, at the moment, the best supported team in Varaždin because Hajduk are yet to play a home game. Dinamo and Osijek. Normally, this will be a huge, huge game. But Osijek, look, they are struggling. But Dinamo, they did play a midweek game, and we'll talk a little bit about that very, very shortly. So, look, maybe if you're going to catch Dinamo off guard, this is the time to do it. Istra at home to Rijeka in the wee hours of Monday morning, followed by the last game there at 5:05 our time. Hajduk Split taking on Lokomotiva. That should be really interesting. Now, while we're talking about Dinamo Zagreb, overnight, 1-0 result against Bodo Glimt. Now, look, that's not a bad result. Like, they will be
Look, away in Norway, it's not going to be. And look, they've been a good side in the Norway Premier League. So
yeah. And the Norwegians are getting a little bit cocky in their press. We've got this, they say. But look, Dinamo, 1-0 to come away is not a bad result. Look, at Maksimir, once again, we talk about North Geelong having that home ground advantage because of the state of their pitch. Maksimir is not exactly the most modern stadium, and it's got a certain vibe about it. And like what Nick Tanner once upon a time, the owner of Perth Glory, said about Melbourne Knights back in the 90s, that the Summer Street was like the deep hot hell. The centre of hell, I think he wants to refer to it. I think more than one European clubs have often referred to the Maksimir Stadium as along the similar lines. So, look, I'm confident. I'm confident Dinamo will be able to get back in and overcome that 1-goal deficit. But it will be interesting to see how that all progresses. Now, speaking of the Prva Liga, Josipe, the first coaching casualty has fallen.
Yeah, Dragan Tadic from Rijeka. He's seen the end of his tenure come about. Obviously, the patience is very thin, and they wasted no time whatsoever. I mean, Rijeka's got better ambitions than sitting second last, albeit 4 or 5 games in. But the patience already. See you later.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, in other news in the Prva Liga, Anthony Karlik, the Australian Croatian, currently playing at Gorica. He has been former Hajduk player, player with Hajduk 2s, the second side in the second division. He's Gorica's number one player. He is setting the league alight. And Hajduk are chasing this guy. They need someone kind of more of a defensive midfielder, and Karlik fits that role absolutely perfectly. But the Gorica president doesn't want to let him go. I think it's for €500,000, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. It's not a done deal, and it's certainly not the end result. Watch this space, because I reckon we could see some movement happening there in the next few weeks. Now, we talk about the ever-growing Australian Croatian contingency, if you like, or the colony in Croatia. In the second division, Rudeš kicked off their campaign against Jarun in the big Zagreb derby. Interestingly, this was held at Lučko Stadium, which is nowhere near Jarun, but Jarun are these days are having that as their home ground. But look at the second goal scorer there in the 33rd minute, Gabi Popovic, ex-Melbourne Victory. And yes, he's the son of none other than Tony Popovic, the Melbourne Victory coach. So he's really getting amongst the action there. Rudeš are the firm favourites to get promotion to next season's HNL. And there we go, the results. So Rudeš defeated Jarun 1-0. Hrvatski Dragovoljac defeated Bijelo Brdo. Our team, Josipe Cibalja, they held Kustošija to a 2-2 draw. Yeah. Great crowd, apparently. Beautiful sunny conditions in Vinkovci. Absolutely stunning football to start. Dubravan Vukovar, the newly promoted Vukovar, and I think a lot of people's favourite second team. 0-0 draw there in Zagreb. Dugopolje, this is a surprise. They lost to Croatia Zmijavci 2-0. Croatia only entered the team, or only got accepted after Inter Zaprešić effectively folded. And Orient and Solin 1-1. There's a couple, I think, of Australian Croatians at Orient as well. So that is
Sydney United. Young Goran, the goalkeeper, is just signed to go there. So
yeah, that's awesome. Over the border to BiH, we've got some of the results there. Posušje defeated Sloga Doboj 3-2. Well done to them. The other Croatian teams were not in action. They had their games postponed. Moving along to it
was going to be the Mostar derby. So, but
that's right, and that's been postponed because of Zrinski's involvement in the Conference League, the UEFA Conference League. Look at the ladder. Široki Brijeg on top there. They've even got a game in hand, so they're looking really, really good.
Really good, yeah.
Yeah, good thing is Posushe did very well, and they've moved up, so that is really good. Zrinski, they're in second last position, but folks, do not worry. They've only played 2 games, so I'm sure they will be moving.
I'll come charging.
Absolutely. They'll come charging, and when they do, better watch out. And that's going to happen very, very shortly. Now, speaking of the Europa or UEFA Conference Leagues, 2 big games involving 2 Croatian clubs. This Friday morning at 4 a.m., Zrinski taking on Slovan Bratislava in Mostar. I believe it's a sellout. I believe the Mostarci have gone out and bought the tickets very, very quickly. So Slovan Bratislava, watch out. You're going to come to Mostar. To Bielo Brdo is the stadium's name.
And you won't enjoy it.
You won't leave. You'll leave empty-handed, yeah.
You won't even get a
yeah, maybe if they're lucky. Friday morning at 4:45 a.m. in Valencia, Hajduk takes on Spanish giants Villarreal, also in the UEFA Conference League. So that's going to be a big game. The return leg in a week's time. So the big thing there is that Hajduk have been punished by UEFA for, I think at the last home game, they had people, spectators sitting in the aisles. And so they've had to close one of the sectors. And that means instead of 33,000 capacity, there's only 30,000 capacity, which is a bummer, but doesn't matter. Still all personal. As we mentioned earlier, young Noah Skorko, he's doing exceptionally well. He's done fantastically well. He's been selected in the Croatian under-17 side, and hopefully we might even have a little bit of footage of him coming on. And if we can work that out, here we go. There we go. This is him coming on in the 60, I think it was, what was it, 63rd minute or something?
Yeah.
And we've just got a progress score from the Gold Coast Knights. We'll get to that in a sec, but here he comes on. Number 18, if you can actually see it. It's a little bit blurry there, but
there he is.
There he is.
Yep.
In the center of your screen. Isn't that great to see?
Wonderful.
Look at that, yeah. So we spoke about this, Josip, a few months ago. He was overlooked for the Australian under-17 training camp. And it's quite possible we're going to have a Josip Šimunić all over again. But, well done to Noah.
Good.
He's done absolutely fantastic. And this is just the start of things. And, when we speak to North Geelong Warriors captain Ryan Opperman a little bit later on, we'll get a little bit of even an insight into what it was like playing with Noah and what Noah had in him that made him so special that at the age of 16, he broke into the North Geelong Warriors senior team. But it's absolutely fantastic. I think we've got pretty much, that's it. So, progress score. What was the progress score of the Gold Coast Knights game?
Gold Coast Knights have taken it out 3-1 win over Brisbane Royal Youth, and they will be hosting a home semi-final. So they've still got another game to go in their season. So well done, Knights. Good to see you've able to bounce back from that early deficit. The FFA Cup matches are still underway. They've gone to extra time all over the place. So I don't think we'll know our Sydney United's opponent by the end of the show.
Yeah. Now, before we do go to a break and go to our first guest, look, Hajduk, they are just massive. They are absolutely incredibly massive when it comes to the support. They are the biggest club in Croatia. Dinamo, without a doubt, I take my hat off, are the most successful, no doubt about that. But when it comes to bums on seats, you look at that figure. At the moment, 83,500 members. 83,500 members for a city that's just a little over 200,000. 11,500 seasons ticket holders. And I think if you got the seasons ticket holders of all the other 9 HNL teams, you wouldn't get 11,500. So that is amazing. And then down the bottom, you can see in 6 hours, 25,000 supporters secured their tickets to the Villarreal game. So they are a movement. They are absolutely a movement. And young Noah Skorko is following in the footsteps of his father, Josip, as a member of the under-17 team at Hajduk Split. We look forward to seeing him, in years to come, ascend to the first team as well. And there might be a few other Australian Croatians in the meantime as well. That's it. We've covered the Australian Croatian scene and the Croatian scene. It's now time for our first guest, our only guest for tonight. Make sure you hang around. We've got the captain of the North Geelong Warriors, Ryan Opperman, joining us straight after the break. Welcome back to the Oz Cro Soccer Show, episode 28. And Josip, you're looking very, very snug. There's the word.
Happy.
Shall you? I'll give you the honours to introduce our next guest.
Yes, it's with great pleasure we get to announce the captain of North Geelong Warriors, Ryan Oppermann. Welcome to the show, Oppie.
Cheers, gents. Thanks for having us.
Evening, Oppie. Evening, mate. You've got a big smile on your face, and why wouldn't you? You've led the Warriors to a return to the NPL competition, mate. First of all, congratulations. That is absolutely awesome. Has the celebrations finished from last weekend, or mine's certainly on focus now on this Saturday coming up? What is the priority? Was the priority at the start of the year promotion, or to win the league title, or has it changed throughout the course of the season?
I think for us, the goal as a team in house to win the league and promotion. I think it'd be disappointing if we didn't win promotion, considering we've been on top all year. So our goal is heavily set on winning this Saturday to retain that top spot. We know what it means to the guys on the field, but to the club as well to win the league, and that's what we're aiming for.
That's fantastic. Oppie, nice to be speaking with you and seeing you. I haven't seen you for quite some time, mate. I was in the change rooms as pre-season was getting underway, and we were saying farewell to Mickey Ando. And Josip and myself with the coaching staff, we basically lay it down and said, this is it. We go for it. It's time to go. The time is right. You're never going to get a better opportunity. Can I just get an insight from someone like yourself, Oppie, we'll call it what it is. You're not from the fibre of North Geelong from a junior perspective, but you've been there now. This is your fifth complete season, right?
Yep.
You're now well entrenched into the lifeblood of the club. When you heard those words come out of like the football department's mouths, did you just sit there and say a bit of lip service? You're just trying to pump us up, or did you actually look at each other or talk to each other and say, "They're bloody right. We're going to go and we're going to go hard"? Oh,
for sure. I think this season has been building. It doesn't come off the back of the last 2 or 3 years. I've been here since the 18-19 season. It's been a lot of hard work, not only from the playing group, but from everyone behind the scenes. The club deserves to be where they are now in the top flight of NPL. So to get that backing from the club, it was the right time. We brought the right players in. We had to go for it, and we would have seen it as a disappointment if we didn't get promoted. So we definitely felt the backing from the club, and as a playing group, we set that as a clear goal at the start of the year. And that now that we're there, it's great.
Yeah, good, man.
Now, Oppie, one of the other things that has happened over the last maybe 4 or 5 years, and I guess Josip Skorko is heavily responsible for this, and I guess Joey Didlitz as well there at the club, is the reliance on local players. In the past, a lot of players have been bought from Melbourne. Some overpaid players that underperformed, but I think it's something like 85-90% of the squad this year has all been local players. And I think I counted about 5 clubs have had an influence or have had some sort of either direct or indirect influence in the development of some of these players on the weekend. Mate, as a local boy who's tried your luck in Melbourne with other clubs, it must be like there must be extra dimension of pride when you
Mhm.
see that, it's the local boys that have really done this and done it. And even your coach, Stuart Begg, he's another Geelong boy who's a local product. Tell us
Yep.
what sort of feelings do you feel?
Look, I think it's quite personal for myself. Obviously, I made it a goal of mine individually to get North Geelong back to the top as a local boy. A lot of the guys that I play with, I went to school with. Tommy is the president. He was one of my teachers in school. So there's that togetherness around the club, which is quite hard to come by, not only in Geelong, but I guess in all divisions of soccer. So for us to put together a team of local talent and just show that us as local players from the region can cut it in the top flight, the top flight of NPL, and get us back to where we are. It also gives that positivity for the younger players that they don't have to go to Melbourne, that there is that pathway. You've touched on it before with Noah, Luca, Nicky, all coming through the ranks, and now they're overseas. So it gives them an avenue locally, and we don't have to see those players and miss out of them because they're going to Melbourne.
And just speaking of Noah, having him join the senior crew this year, Oppie, what did you see in him that you thought to yourself, gee, this stands out for me? Or did that you think, how does a 16-year-old come and play men's football and contribute the way he did?
Yeah, look, it's those players are rare and they don't come very often. So when they do come past, sometimes you just got to sit back and enjoy it. And we know what Josip Skoko's done for the world game over here in Australia, and both of his sons are exceptional talent, and not just their side of things, but I think it's their work ethic as well. They were the first always at training, whether it's practicing free kicks, keeping the ball up, and then they're always the last. So they haven't just got that technical ability; they also got that work ethic. And then you touched on it as well. Sometimes you may think that the younger body may struggle as well, but his ability to throw himself about, get himself in positions where he can win the ball, his brain is marvelous, and the way he thinks and the way he puts himself in positions and his foot, those things are above being strong and physical. So he knows how to work the game.
Fantastic.
I mean, a lot of people might say, oh, but look, it's, his dad's, it's a big name and he's going to get to where he is. But if you see the kid in action, I mean, he's just profoundly skillful. And some of the things he did, a 16-year-old does not do that. And anyone who would have watched him closely this year was just in awe of the way this kid carried himself on the field at the age of 16. I mean, the way he used to roll his sleeves up like this, he still had that sort of boyish thing about him in the middle of winter, But the maturity, like where he'd scan and his vision was unbelievable. So he's going to be an exciting prospect. But there's been a lot of young players. Stuart Beggs, the coach there. He's blooded a lot of youngsters, given quite a few youngsters an opportunity off the bench this year. Who do you see in the under-21s coming up through the ranks that have been training with you guys? Is there any of the players that really stand out that, Warriors fans, whether from Geelong or from Melbourne, need to start looking and getting excited about?
Look, I think the first one that probably comes to mind is Luke. He's
you don't want to say Zivcic.
Yeah, he's Zivcic. He's got a knack for that goal scoring ability, and I think he just needs that bit of guidance. But he's the first one that comes to mind. You got young boys like Danny Serra, who's been around for a little bit now, so he's coming off and making an impact. So there's a number of boys that come through that now have that pathway, which I touched on before, that don't feel like they have to go to a Melbourne team, that they can stay here and they're really going to be given an opportunity. Obviously, you have to work and put in the effort, but I think we're building that culture around the team that everyone's going to get a shot for the people who deserve it and the people who are willing to put in that effort. So it's great to see from the young boys.
Yeah.
Now, we've probably got to turn our attention to this weekend, Oppie. You got the 1v2 situation You got a 2-point gap on Moreland City, and you're going to the only club in the league that has a ground that's identical to North Geelong.
I know. If you told me at the start of the season that this is how it would work out, I probably wouldn't believe you. But it's funny how the world works. But we know we have the pressures. I feel the pressures. Yeah, it's on them, but it's also on us because we've been up there the whole time for a majority of the year. So we want to finish strong, and I think it would be to what the team has achieved if we don't go and win it, and that's what we're going there for.
Yeah. Now, it's not confirmed, but I have it on good notice that Saturday's game, as it should be, first versus second, it's the championship decider, is actually going to be live streamed on NPL TV. So that's what I'm hearing from the corridors of Football Victoria. And if that is the case, that is going to be good. But having said that, it's probably one thing is better is to actually be there. And North Geelong is organising a very, very special supporters bus. Geez. How good would it be the trip back home if you guys can draw or win? Yeah, they're all the details. It's only $20 per person on bus.
Oppie wants to go on the bus if they win.
In true.
I'll be jumping on the bus as well. That's for sure.
Go to the North Geelong Warriors Facebook page and all the details are there. But have a look at that little thing there. In true Croatian fashion, cash only. Of course, he's probably going to get a special discount if it's in cash. Cash is king. So say the Croatians.
If the driver's Jože, he's probably taking the bus without asking.
Yeah, but it promises to either way. It promises to be a big party. Obviously, Oppie, and absolutely now is the time to celebrate. But before too long, it is going to be time to knuckle down and start thinking about next year because the season starts earlier for North Geelong now. It'll be probably early February. You've had a taste of playing, I think it's Port Melbourne, was it? You had a stint there.
Yep.
What do the young fellas, what do the boys need to step up to that higher level? Maybe one or two good recruits, but apart from that, the guys that are going to stay there, and we know North Geelong's budget isn't on par with some of the rich clubs. What can David do to stick up to Goliath in Melbourne?
Look, I think what we've shown this year is that togetherness and that ability to work for each other, that selfishness. But I guess you touched on it before. We may have to go and recruit some players. We may lose some players. Who knows what the transfer window is going to hold. But I think we've got that core group together now for the last 3 to 5 years, which is key. If you have a good base and a solid foundation, adding players here and there is what's going to make the difference. But we've been together now. We know what it's going to be like. We know it's not going to be easy, but we're not there to just make up numbers at the same time. We want to push that top 6 as well, and that will be one of our goals at the start of the year, no doubt. But, we've got to work hard at training. Of course, you have to have a bit of luck as well on your side. Looking at this year, the amount of times that you have to have luck as well. Momentum's a big factor in football. So being there and having been there with Port Melbourne for a number of years, you've really got to put in the hard work because every game's not going to be easy no matter who you play. When we saw that this year, anyone can beat anyone on their day, but as long as we're there working for each other, and as we touched on it before, no one wants to come down to Alco Park 3 p.m. or 5 o'clock on a Saturday when it's cold. So we know what it's like. So if we can make it a target to win all our home games as well, we haven't lost all year down at home. That's a big factor that we can play to our advantage. So we're looking forward to it, and going to enjoy pre-season and heading into the first round.
Absolutely awesome. Josip, any last questions for our guest?
Look, what minute will you score a goal this week?
Pardon? Hopefully it's a nice penalty. I'm enjoying the penalties this year. So
you're doing a bit of you got the James Milner look, the penalty finishing.
Yeah, I know. I've got to enjoying it. So while it's there, so yeah. Look, we hope to get everyone down there this weekend. Obviously, we've got the bus, but we know what it means to both, not only us but Moreland as well. Obviously, they're trying to clinch for promotion. So hope to get everyone down there and we can have a good celebration back at Alco Park and the Dom, hopefully at 7 a.m, not p.m.
Yeah, no, mate. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you very much for joining us. On a personal level, you did have a little bit of a sad thing happen today. And despite all that, our deepest condolences about that. But despite that, you still were able to come on the show. So we really, really appreciate it. Mate, all the very, very best for Saturday. And indeed, for season 2023 in the NPL Victoria competition. All the best, mate.
Appreciate it. Thanks, gents.
Good
Appreciate it.
on you.
And say hello to Ben Zilic for me. I saw him scoring a couple of goals on Facebook, so I know he's doing well up there as well.
Good on you, mate. I will.
Cheers,
all
gents.
part of the Warrior family. Well done. That was Ryan Opperman, the captain of and look, he's been there 5 years there. He's become part of the furniture, and it really is great to see. And you know what? Yes, we are proud Croatians. We are proud of our culture, but you know what? It's testament to a club like North Geelong Warriors that the previous captain, Michael Anderson, had been there, 11 years, something like that, unbroken. And now Ryan Opperman, who played most of his, I think, junior football at Geelong Rangers as well, has been there for...
Look, his old man Mick played at Rangers, as we know, and he
Mick,
came through the...
Shout out to Mick. He's always at Elco Park. I think you always see him there.
These days.
Oh, absolutely,
Young Ryan played his juniors at Rangers, then went over to Richmond in the old VPL under 21s. He was coached by Mickey Cholino at one stage there at Richmond.
Yep.
And then actually Mickey tried to get him over at 14 to come our way. It didn't work out. He went over to Port Melbourne, played in the NPL. But then after a season's injury, he went back to Rangers in 17, get his fitness back. And through that period of time when we was restructuring at the club and redoing the football department, we lent on him, and through some of his relationships at North Geelong, to guys he went to school with, we got him over the line.
There you go. And Captain Courageous that definitely is a word to describe the North Geelong Warriors captain. That brings us to the end of the show. Do we know who Sydney United have got?
Extra time going in the 3 other games, mate. So it could be anyone's guess. We'll post it up as soon as we know.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, folks, for joining us on the Oz Cro Soccer Show. It has been an absolute pleasure. Next week, we hope to have a couple of special guests, in fact. We'll be working on that and maybe even have some interesting guests as well, possibly maybe from overseas, maybe from around here. But, next Wednesday night, folks, at 8:30, we'll be back. And thank you once again for being a part of tonight's show. And as we did say right at the start, if your club would like to sponsor an upcoming episode of the Oz Cro Soccer Show, look back at the season that was, contact us now by emailing ozcrosoccershow@gmail.com or call us on 0402 012 716. Thank you, folks. Once again, good night and laku noć.
Laku noć.